Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to day 14 of Diddy or Didn't He? That's 14 days that we've been watching the courtroom there in Manhattan, the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. I am Pugs Moran, and welcome to Diddy or Didn't He here on Radio Misfits, radiomisfits.com. Again, diddyordidn'the.com. You can go directly to that. That'll take you straight to the YouTube page or the Facebook page if you want the video portions of this. Otherwise, just like, follow, and subscribe. And make sure you don't miss an episode of Diddy or Didn't He every single day following the trial there in New York City. Let's see here. Today we had, look, I'm not going to say it wasn't. I've been telling you from the beginning that one of the things that I truly appreciate most about this trial so far is how Judge Aram Subramanian has been running this show. He is keeping it on a tight schedule. The trial has been starting on time. We haven't been overwhelmed with sidebars or dismissing the jury so that people can argue about something in private. All of the things and the stunts that we typically see from these high-profile cases, we haven't seen a lot of. Subramanian has said from the beginning that this would be a 6, possibly 8-week trial, and we seem to be on track to do that. We are entering now week 4 of the Diddy trial. Today we heard from Mia again. Mia is testifying anonymously. She is a former personal assistant to Diddy. She first took the stand on Thursday. Prosecution saw her as one of their big slam dunk witnesses. She did a lot of damage to the defense with her prosecution testimony. But as is the case with these kinds of trials, the cross gets their chance. So cross examination of Mia began on Friday. It spilled over into today, and it occupied the bulk of today's testimony. We did also today hear from Sylvia Oaken, who is a manager. She works in the sales department at the Beverly Hills Hotel. She will testify to some of the things that, has happened when Diddy stayed at her hotel. Again, a witness for the prosecution that I don't see how she serves the overarching crime here that they're trying to convince us of, which is racketeering and, sex trafficking, which are these charges that are going to get him, if convicted, possibly sentenced to the rest of his life in prison. These are big charges. Now, in doing so, and I've been consistently saying this for 14 days now, in doing so, they seem to be completely ignoring all of the things that a rational person would say he needs to go to jail for a while for that, which are all of the instances of domestic abuse. We've got video of him beating her. But of course, that's not a federal trial. That's more of a state thing. And so, you can't make your career off of, those kinds of charges. I mean, maybe you can locally, but we are talking about a federal case against Sean Diddy Combs. The people who brought this case specifically charged him with some headline grabbing charges. And I don't think they're making the case. What was the score? 9-3-1. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes. So heading into day 14 of the Diddy trial, I had 9 victory days for the defense, 3 victory days for the prosecution, and Friday I called that one a tie. So what happened today? Today was another victory for the defense. Today it's now 10-3-1. 10-3-1 is the score if you're keeping track at home, because I certainly am here on my side. Let's get into what happened today. But first, let me tell you about who was in attendance, because we haven't really done this. In the beginning, the first couple of days of the trial, Diddy's entire family is there. That includes his mother. That includes his all of his sons and all of his daughters. Then around the time that Cassie took the stand in week 1, the daughters stopped showing up. As soon as the testimony got into, Diddy's sex life and all of his weird little peccadillos, his daughters, and I completely understand this, they are no longer showing up for court. They haven't shown up in the last 3 weeks. But today we do have his mother, Janice Combs, has been there every day, as a mother does, showing up every single day, looking fantastic. She's out there peacocking. She's wearing a crazy pimp hat. The one day, was it today she was wearing a crazy pimp hat? I don't know, maybe it was. I don't know. Anyway, she's looking fabulous. She's showing up every day. She's supporting her boy. Also, his sons are there. Yeah, his sons aren't going to be creeped out by hearing, Well, actually, some of the shit that you heard, about Diddy like to have, stuff smeared all over other dudes' juices smeared all over. And, you don't want to see that. You don't want to hear that as a son. But the boys are all there. Janice Combs and his two sons, Justin Combs and stepson Quincy Brown, showed up in Manhattan federal court Monday morning to stand behind their father. It says here, disgraced father, but that's a bit of editorializing. I don't need that. Stand behind the mogul as the trial rolls on. It says here, noticeably absent for weeks now, or what I just said, are Diddy's three daughters, Chance, 19, and the twins, Jesse and Delilah, 18. They haven't shown up to support their dad since the trial's first days. And I imagine that that's because they don't need to be there for all the sex stuff. They, But this sex stuff is so weird. I don't even think the boys, you can understand the boys. Boys are like, yeah, man, my dad's a player. My dad's a swordsman of epic proportions. I can see. But then when it's like your dad likes to get jizz smeared on his chest, it's like, yeah, I don't want to be there either. But here they are, the boys. The boys are still standing strong, hanging out. They know where their bread is buttered, literally. All right, who else do we have? Today, we started out Monday morning, day 14, with more cross-examination of Mia. Again, Mia is testifying anonymously. Mia is a former personal assistant. She has a separate case against Diddy where she claims that she was raped 3 times. Three times are the things that she has testified to as far as, when she was being directly examined by the prosecution. But now it's time for Brian Steele to get some more cracks at her. Brian had her all day Friday, and now he's got her again today. Let's see. How did it start out today with Mia? Defense attorney Brian Steele kicked things off by interrogating Mia about her work credentials and her resume before she started working for Diddy. Okay, so, what did she do? So he's like, you're a professional personal assistant for the celebrity class. So who have you worked for? So she talked about, the other people she worked for. We covered this earlier. She worked for the Weinsteins. She worked directly with Georgina Chapman, who was Harvey Weinstein's wife. She runs a fashion brand. She also worked for Mike Myers, Austin Powers, Wayne from Wayne's World. She worked with him as well. So these people have all been mentioned in relation to this trial, and a whole bunch of people on social media are using this as a reason to call Mike Myers a pervert. See, Mike Myers, Diddy, him and Mike Myers and Diddy, no. The way that Mike Myers is now being looped into this Diddy trial isn't because he attended a freak off or was Diddy's personal oil boy or anything like that. No, it's just because they shared a personal assistant. So there you go, Mike Myers, you're okay. All right, let's keep going. Let's see here. Mia's resume shows that she worked for Mike Myers between June of 2008 and July of 2009. What happened there? You know what I mean? Like I always like to say, personal assistants, this is an intimate job. It's supposed to have a new personal assistant every year. So what happened with you and Mike Myers? But Brian Steele did not satiate my thirst for an answer to that question. It says here, Mia says that she worked for Mike Myers for a year. She provided round-the-clock support to Mike Myers, seeing to all personal and professional needs. She kept inventory of all personal possessions and documentations. Let's see here. She says she kept inventory of all. That included passports, driver's. Okay, what is she? Personal assistant stuff. It says here she kept inventory of all personal possessions and documentation, including passports, driver's license, birth certificate, family certificates, memorabilia, awards, promotional items, the document said. She also said that she supervised other assistants and managed interviewing processes. How many assistants does Mike Myers need? It's not like he does a lot, right? He doesn't do a lot of stuff. Mike Myers isn't busy. Mike Myers doesn't need to be busy. He's got Wayne's World money. He's got Austin Powers money, and he's got Shrek money, which dwarfs both of them. All right. Then she was also asked by Brian Steele about on Friday, we were shown a bunch of Instagram posts. Remember, Mia's big on Instagram, as anyone of her generation probably is. Mia's big on Instagram. And although she says that she was raped 3 times by Diddy, over the years after leaving Diddy, she has posted some pretty flattering things about her time working for Diddy and some pretty flattering things towards Diddy directly on Instagram, which, you know, I thought she did a pretty good job rebutting Brian Steele, Diddy's defense attorney, when he brought up this Instagram post where she said, you know, you're an inspiration and all this. Her response to that was, look, man, Instagram is for lies. Instagram, I mean, that's not exactly what she said, but basically her point was, you don't believe what people say on Instagram. Instagram is, actually, I think her quote was, Instagram is about depicting your best life, even when it's not true. I think that's what she said. And I thought that was a pretty good response to someone trying to trip you up with a gotcha. Oh, you say you hate Diddy, but look at what you publish publicly on Instagram. Says you don't hate Diddy, to which she says, yeah, that's Instagram, right? I'm a professional. I'm trying to keep up appearances. You know, that's not. So I thought that was a victory on Friday. I thought she did a really nice job of sort of knocking that down and explaining to the jury, look, jury, you know the difference between Instagram and real life, right? So I thought that was good. Today, it got a little bit trickier for Mia because Brian Steele came back and opened up today with text messages, not public proclamations that can be easily, you know, dismissed as, well, I work in the business and I need to make it seem like I have a good relationship with him because he's powerful and I would like to keep working. That would be a reasonable explanation for why somebody would say contradictory things about someone she's suing for sex abuse on Instagram. That I get. But text messages? You're sending direct text messages to him now? This isn't showing off. This is you engaging someone that you haven't worked for in a couple of years, someone who now in 2025, you are saying raped you 3 times. This is you years after leaving his employ, sending him personal text messages that are loving. I mean, you know, look, Mia sends loving text messages to Diddy long after leaving his employ. Mia, who worked for Diddy until 2017, sent him a text message in 2019, gushing, just thinking about you today and every day. I had a nightmare. I was trapped in an elevator with R. Kelly, and you came and saved me. To which Brian Steele responded to this personal one-on-one text message, the person who sexually assaulted you came to you in a dream and rescued you, and you told him this. To which Mia answered, yes. That's devastating. It's that exchange on the stand today between Mia and Brian that is the reason that I gave the defense today's victory. That is going to resonate with the jury. The jury is being asked to believe that Mia was raped 3 times, Diddy's a monster, and that this is evidence of the case the prosecution is trying to set, that he's this, you know, godfather of monstrous racketeering and, you know, all of this stuff, right? This really hurts because this is personal. And for no reason, apropos of absolutely nothing, 2 years after leaving this guy, 2 years after going through a fairly contentious separation arbitration series with him. She sued him when she left his employ for like $1 million and ended up getting $400,000. Okay, so even after that, she just randomly, Mia, who is now saying he's a monster and needs to go to jail forever, she is sending him 2 years after she leaves his employ a random text message telling him that I had a nightmare last night and you came to my rescue and saved me from R. Kelly. Isn't that weird? I mean, if you're on the jury, you got to be like, that's weird. What is going on here? Is she really victimized by this guy and can't believe she escaped with her life? Or does she want to work with him again? So that was my great victory for the defense, I think, today. I think that did really well. Prosecutor Maureen Comey, she objected to this exchange, and she should, because it was devastating for the prosecution. She objected. She accused Diddy's defense attorney, Brian Steele, of harassing Mia. When the jury was out of the room, Comey claimed that Steele had forced Mia to endure humiliating cross-examination in which the defense attorney was sarcastic and insulted her. She says, we are crossing the threshold into prejudice and into harassing of witnesses, Comey claimed to the judge. Our concern is if this victim is not protected from further harassment, it will deter other victims in other cases from testifying and telling the truth, she pleaded with the judge. Judge Subramanian, he appeared to be unpersuaded by Comey's argument, saying that he didn't think the questions were inappropriate. Quote here now from the judge, I've not heard any yelling or heard anything sarcastic, the judge said. Steele then resumed questioning of Mia. All right, so there's a little bit of excitement. It was a very big moment in the case today. Mia admitted that she's sending these loving text messages to the guy that she's telling other people raped her and is a monster. The prosecution doesn't like where this is going. And they're like, Your Honor, we object. And the Honor's like, I haven't heard anything. And this is where we're sort of at a disadvantage trying to cover this, because if we were able to see this, we'd be able to read body language. We'd be able to see, we'd be able to hear tone. But unfortunately, we're at the, what do we call that? We are at the bloggers in the courtroom are the only thing that we have to go on. So, okay. So it seems like that was an objection from the prosecution after a big score by the defense, and the judge sided with the defense. We move on. We continue to do that. All right. So the very next round of questioning from Brian Steele was about why Mia, who now claims that she was raped 3 times, why Mia, during her 2017 separation arbitration from Diddy, when she left Diddy, she was like, you owe me money. And he's like, bitch, you better walk. And she's like, I'm going to sue you. And she did. So it ended up in arbitration, and Diddy ended up giving her $400,000, right? This was in 2017. So Brian Steele, Diddy's attorney today, asked, hey, why in 2017 during the civil suit, why didn't you mention anything about being raped by him 3 times? I mean, you're talking about it now, but back then it was pretty contentious and you were trying to get money. Why didn't you mention being raped then? Mia was pressed by Brian Steele as to why she didn't accuse Combs of rape during the settlement talks back in 2017. Mia confirmed that she originally asked for $10 million. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was $1 million. She asked for $10 million, but ended up settling for $400,000, which she ended up splitting with attorneys. So she walked away with about $200,000. And then there's taxes and so whatever. Mia said that she wasn't aware that sexual assault could be used in settlement negotiations. And that's why it was never brought up during her separation settlement. Mia has testified that the first time she brought up sex assault claims was with prosecutors back in 2024. I thought I would die with this information, Mia has said, and never wanted to make the rape allegations public, which is why she's testifying anonymously. All right. I don't know who gets a victory with that. Again, it's like, so why didn't you mention the rape allegations when you were trying to get, him to pay up the money? Why didn't you mention that? And she said, well, because I didn't know you could. To which me, a normal person hearing that exchange, why didn't you mention this during the 2017 separation negotiation? And her responding, because I didn't know you could. As a member of the jury, I'm hearing that going, well, you didn't have a lawyer? You didn't say, like, in all the meetings you had with lawyers before you went into these arbitration sessions, you didn't mention, oh, and he also raped me. I mean, a lawyer would have told you whether that was appropriate or not. So I don't buy that. I think that resonates as not true, as sort of sus, as the kids might say. All right. It says here, Mia sends more friendly texts. These are texts, not to be confused with the Instagram public posts for clout, right? These are private, personal, one-on-one texts. 3 more celebrity names came up in a rapid succession during the testimony today. Mia, her text messages about A-listers were shown to the jurors. Mia, who worked for Diddy between 2009 and 2017, texted Combs many times in the years after she stopped working for him. Works for him for 9 years, is raped 3 times, sees all kinds of horrible things, sues him for money when she leaves, gets a settlement amount, And then in the years that follow all of this, remember she was raped 3 times. In the years that follow all of this, she seems to be pretty consistently reaching out to Diddy with random thoughts and texts. This is what Brian Steele was trying to get the jury to understand. Mia, who worked for Diddy until 2017, texted him many times. Let's see. Mia texted the rapper in March of 2019, telling him to watch the Netflix show Love by comedic director Judd Apatow. So this man that, I mean, you know, this man who did these terrible things to her caused her this PTSD, and, you know, she doesn't ever want to talk about it. She's texting him shows she wants him to watch on Netflix. That seems like something that only people who are incredibly close and friendly and personal, you know, would do, but okay. All right, she texted them about the Judd Apatow show Love on Netflix. Mia also sent Combs a text on May the 14th, 2020 about the death of record mogul Andre Harrell, who was a guy who Diddy's mentor. Andre Harrell was Diddy's mentor. She sent this to him when Andre Harrell died. She sent, "Puff, my heart is broken about Dre. I've spent all week crying for you as well." Mia texted him. Ugh. I know that's the kind of thing that we text. I know that's the kind of thing that humans text. It seems like something that's nice, but it's so fucking cringy. And it is so... She did not spend the entire week crying, not for the guy that's dead, but for the guy who raped her 3 times because the guy he liked is dead. That's why she spent the week crying. I mean, that's not true, right? She's lying. She is sending him a bullshit text message because she thinks it's appropriate. And it's just a little much. Especially, you know, she spent, according to this text message, she spent an entire week crying when she heard Andre Harrell died. She didn't spend the week crying because she loved Andre Harrell. She spent the week crying because of how much Andre Harrell meant to Diddy, the guy she claims raped her. You see how disingenuous that is? And the jury is just hearing one example of this kind of duplicity from everybody, all sides. Nobody is innocent here. All of these people seem to have ulterior motives and are constantly working on manipulation games. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I was just distracted by a bit of breaking news happening on the TV next to me, but we'll continue. We'll move through this. Let's see here. She also, she said, "Puff, my heart is broken about Dre." She later texted about actor Chadwick Boseman's death. At this time, this one Diddy actually responded to. So when Black Panther died, she apparently texted Diddy and was like, "My heart is broken. How are you?" To which Diddy actually responded. And he responded to her, "How are you?" ? Yeah, life is crazy. That's it. You know what? That's also bad for the prosecution. Because you know what? That is a very human moment for Diddy. That humanizes Diddy. So you have me believe that a guy as busy, a mogul like Diddy, who's worth billions of dollars. He's got vodka companies. He's got tequila companies. He's got a music business. He's got a record label. He's got a fashion line. He's got a whole bunch of, you know, women that he's juggling. This guy is the kind of guy who will text back something friendly and just kind of, you know, human to somebody that sued him for $10 million after being his assistant for 9 years. He texts back, "How are you? Yeah, life is crazy." I mean, that's sort of a dismissive thing, but you know what? The real way to be dismissive with somebody you don't have a good relationship with is to ignore their texts and just ghost their texts. But no, Diddy's like, "Hey, how are you? Yeah, life is crazy." I mean, that's a very human moment for Diddy. And there haven't been a whole lot of human moments for Diddy. So again, I think these little things resonate with the jury that, you know what? Diddy isn't a monster. Everybody seems like a monster, and everybody also seems to have these moments here where they are humanized. These are just bad people. They are humans, but they are all bad people. All right, that was pretty much it. That was it for Mia. It was on that. Mic drop. Brian Steele sits down. Prosecution comes back up. Who you calling next? Judge Subramanian says. And here's what they bring us. They bring us Sylvia Oaken. Sylvia Oaken came on. She was there for about 10 minutes. Like, I don't know what the hell the point is of Sylvia Oaken testifying today after Mia, but she works at the Beverly Hills Hotel. She is a sales manager at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And her whole purpose today was to come up on stand and basically say, yeah, there was damage from oil. This isn't the manager of the hotel where he beat up Cassie. This isn't the manager of a hotel where a freak-off reportedly occurred. This is just another, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe Beverly Hills Hilton is where some freak-offs happen. Sylvia Oaken testified for roughly 15 minutes and detailed for the jury how Combs on May 30th of 2015 stayed at the hotel, and the hotel was forced to charge him an extra $500 for oil damages. It was revealed that the entire cost of the room for one single night was $3,000. That's a rich guy hotel night. That's how rich guys run. Earlier in the trial, it was revealed that another hotel where Combs stayed at several times charged him an extra $1,000 per day for the slippery thing. Yeah, remember last week we had another one of these hotel guys come in? Yeah. All right. So that's it. That's all she did. She came in. She said, yeah, he wrecked the room with oil. And then the prosecution was like, see, more oil. I'm like, but you're not charging him for being a guy who uses oil inappropriately. That's not what he's on trial for. So, all right, that was it, guys. That wraps up day 14. Tomorrow, prosecutors told the judge that tomorrow morning they plan to call Eddie Garcia, who should be a pretty interesting guest or witness, I should say. Eddie Garcia is the security guard from the Intercontinental. So he's going to testify what the mood, what the vibe, what the energy, what he saw, what happened on the video that we all saw where Diddy basically beat the crap out of Cassie right there in the hallway of the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. Eddie Garcia is going to take the stand tomorrow. He was the security guard. Now, I don't know if he's the security guard that was supposedly paid X amount of dollars to get rid of the videotape, because some security guard made $100,000 to get rid of the videotape. And maybe this is Eddie Garcia. I don't know, but the videotape did not get gotten rid of. So Eddie Garcia is going to take the stand tomorrow. He was working there at the Intercontinental on the night of March 5th, 2016, when the infamous attack took place. He's going to be testifying under immunity, which means he can't be prosecuted in connection with it, which leads me to believe that, yeah, he probably got paid. He probably got paid the $100,000 to hide the video, and then somehow CNN got the video, and now we're all here. All right, guys, that's going to do it. That's all for Diddy or Didn't He Day 14. Like, follow, subscribe. We'll get you another Day 15 update tomorrow. Also, if you enjoyed this commentary, you can check out my daily talk show every day, The Rant with me, Pugs Moran, here on RadioMisfits.com, or just Google Pugs Moran. It'll show up. It's like the thing that I do. It is talk radio. Excuse me. It's talk radio for normal people. We don't do politics. Everything is not about Trump or Biden or Obama or Hillary or, whoever. I don't even know. I don't care. We do talk radio for normal people. We just talk about the world. Doesn't matter how you voted. You shouldn't care how I voted. I don't care how you voted. Talk radio for normal people every day at 2 p.m. right here on Radio Misfits, radiomisfits.com. Every day since 2021. That's right. It's not a lark. We've been doing it every day, every single day. I do 2 hours of talk radio for normal people, unlike any kind of talk radio that you're going to hear on American terrestrial stations. That's right. Every day. All right. Thank you, folks. Like, follow, subscribe, and check us out tomorrow for Day 14 or 15? Day 15. Day 15 of Diddy or Didn't He with me, Pugs Moran, here on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network, radiomisfits.com.